Right, so the Lakers just got swept by OKC. I do feel as though a lot of people predicted this happening. I was also one of them. I'll be completely honest. I'm very happy with the way the last game played out. I understand the sweep isn't great and things of that nature, but the Lakers finally showed that they were able to improve. I think JJ Redick as a coach naturally showed that he's gotten better as the series went on. Unfortunately, Shea went crazy this game, and there's little you can do about that if you're JJ. Being completely honest, it being a 5 point game from losing the previous three games by about 19 points plus, it shows that the Lakers had a lot of fight in them. A lot of people are questioning whether it's the last game we've seen of LeBron. I'm not personally sure. I just thought it'd be fair to give a little breakdown straight after the game. So we can just have a quick look at the stats for this game. Chet had a reasonable game. He didn't do as great as he had in the previous three games, but still had 16 points, 9 rebounds. He was killing the rebounds. Like the Lakers were just getting dominated. Aiton didn't have much of an answer. Hartenstein had 10 rebounds with 3 offensive rebounds. The offensive rebounds were a major problem this game, but they were key ones. They were ones where the Lakers needed to stop, especially in the fourth. And you could see that they just didn't have their legs, which was kind of a shame, really. AJ Mitchell, this brother was cooking. 28 points plus 17, 4 steals, 4 assists, 1 turnover. 12 for 19 from the field. He went insane. Honestly, one of the best games I've seen. He was obviously being guarded by Austin Reeves, who's not a great defender. So I feel like a lot of people are hyping up how good he is. I even heard um, some slight comments about he may be better than Austin Reeves. I personally don't know. I don't want to give him that yet because it's very easy playing with an MVP next to you, playing with Chet next to you, and then playing with essentially a really good team around you than it is being Austin Reeves having to go against the elite level defenders that OKC have, whether that Lou Dort potentially guarding you, Caruso, Cason Wallace guarding you. So there's a different level to it in terms of matchup wise. So I wouldn't necessarily say that he's better than Austin Reeves, but I think he's definitely shown that he's got spots. This is also his second season in the league, so that's tough. Shea, 35 points. Shea did finally break free from the Lakers defense. I think he started to catch a rhythm a little bit. Those stunt double teams didn't really work as much because he knew now, oh, they're not actually committing to doubling me. So I can just kind of go crazy, take some ISO shots. And in the fourth, he had a couple good plays in the fourth, especially when the fourth quarter and the last 4 minutes or so, the Lakers and OKC were just kind of trading buckets. But every time OKC had a big answer, they had a big shot to hit, and it just put a lot of pressure on the Lakers to then respond. And the only person not the only person, but some players on the Lakers team were actually able to answer the bell. Overall, I think OKC had a pretty decent game. It was nothing to really stand out, standard, well rounded team. I do want to focus a little bit more on the Lakers, just to give a quick breakdown. LeBron had 24 points. Rui had 25 points. Rui's been going insane this postseason. I think I saw a stat out there that said he was essentially 38 threes this postseason, shooting like 56% this postseason, which I think is insane, incredibly good. Well, Austin Reeves also had a decent game. 8 turnovers was probably the downfall. There were a lot of passes where it wasn't him trying to make a great read. It was just more, you can't turn it over there. Momentum turnovers, essentially. Like the Lakers would get a big start and he would dribble up the court and just throw it away. LeBron had one or two of those as well. After a big rebound, he just turned it straight over, allowing OKC to have another scoring chance at them. Overall, I think even if the Lakers did win this game, I don't think obviously it would have been nice for them to win the game, but I don't think it would have made an impact on the outcome of the series. As we all know, the Lakers essentially had to play almost perfect to win any game in this series. Unfortunately, they just didn't come close enough to playing perfect. Offensively, Marcus Smart had a terrible game, but defensively, he does what he does. Sometimes you appreciate it, sometimes you don't. It's a give and take with Marcus Smart. I think I've highlighted this quite a lot of times. You either accept what he's giving you or you don't. And today was one of those days where he did have a big and one in the fourth, which put the Lakers up initially one with about 48 seconds left, and then obviously OKC came down with a Chet dunk. But overall, really good performance from most of the team. I do want to highlight DeAndre Ayton. What an atrocious performance. This guy on the court, not to downplay anyone or anything, this guy on the court is just so bad, inconsistent, unable to catch the ball. It just, today he went 3 for 3, but his stats today will not let you see or show you how bad he actually was. -2 does not look that bad. But Ayton played 20 minutes, had 3 rebounds. 3 rebounds, and he's the big. He is the center on this team. Austin Reeves had 7 rebounds. Yes, Austin Reeves played 42 minutes, but that's because Jackson Hayes had to play the rest of the minutes. Jackson Hayes had to play essentially 27 minutes because DeAndre Ayton was just so bad. And in those 27 minutes, Jackson Hayes had 5 rebounds, 3 of which were offensive rebounds. And people, I want you guys to understand, Jackson Hayes was someone who last postseason was not able to get consistent minutes. And this year now, he's able to play not just consistent minutes, more minutes than the starting center for the Lakers. I think that's insane. I think that's just pure insanity. Like, there's no way that should be happening, but it did. And that's worth highlighting. Overall, I think the Lakers, they did an all right job. They weren't unfortunately able to actually squeeze out a win, which, like I said, is not something that's not expected. A lot of people did think that them getting a win would be a bit far-fetched. So I think I commend them for being able to push this game to a 5-point game, keeping it close throughout the whole game, and not just letting go of their foot or taking their foot off the gas in the third quarter like they have done. They actually had a lead going into the fourth quarter, 5-point lead, which is insane for the Lakers. But overall, decent game for the Lakers. I did make it a valid point to watch this game because we don't know if this is LeBron's last game. I think this is something I will probably focus on in another video, but I just thought I'd give a little breakdown of what I think. I do want to highlight, I know that certain players like Rui's on an expiring contract. Ayton's he's got a player option. LeBron's on an expiring contract. And then we've got Marcus Smart as well, who I think may be on an expiring contract. I do think the Lakers should try and retain Rui, but I also think he's probably going to get a lot of money this offseason. Maybe not to the point where he's not a valid role player, but he may get a decent amount of money, depending if it's from a contender or not. Maybe some non-contending teams may give him a little bit more just to help boost their roster slightly. But yeah, I think the Lakers should try and keep Rui. LeBron, I just had a post conference. I don't think he's considered retirement yet. The reason why I say that is because LeBron's given those, I don't know what my future holds. And I think LeBron's a very assertive guy. He's a very concrete guy. Like, he knows what he wants. And I think him saying, I don't know what my future holds, is kind of like I'll just see who pays me, essentially. Because if you're LeBron James, you know when you want to retire. You just don't. He doesn't want to feed that fire and say, yeah, I'm not retiring, because he wants people to come at him with certain offers. Because, dude, you know, you're LeBron James. Everything you do is calculated on the court. You're telling me or telling us you don't expect us to believe that everything you're also doing off the court is calculated. You've known since the beginning of the season whether or not you're going to retire this season. You know what you're going to do. You're just trying to lay off on things as much as possible, which I think is fair, but I don't think I don't think he's retiring. I think he's going to be back in the NBA. Also because I don't think LeBron would just walk away. Not to say he would want a farewell tour, but he wouldn't just walk away without at least doing like an applaud and be like, all right, guys, like, thank you for everything, and soak up the moment. Like, the reporters were asking him, did you soak up the moment? And LeBron seems like the type of guy to want to soak up moments and want to remember things and be like, you know what, I've done. Especially if someone's still playing basketball. You've played basketball 23 years. There's no way you're just going to walk off the court and act like nothing's happened. You're going to want to savor those moments. You're going to want to soak up the moments and take the pictures and do all these right things. And I think if it was his last season, he would have definitely made more of an effort to try and maybe do something that would allow us to be like, oh, yeah, it's his last season. Whether that is step on the court one more time with his son, do something that is kind of like that's a LeBron thing. So yeah, I just don't think he's gonna retire this season. I may make another video going more details into that. But yeah, overall, I would grade the Lakers the Lakers season. I would grade it like a C plus, to be completely honest. Maybe a B minus. Against Houston, no one really expected them to do as well as they did. They came out, they won in 6. Against OKC, I did think that a lot of the games were closer than it looked, but especially this fourth game, they did really well, not letting go of taking their foot off the gas. So I have to give them credit for that. But yeah, overall, those are just my thoughts. Hopefully you like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what your thoughts are, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.